So, how is Turkey collaborating with Tanzania on environmental and renewable energy projects?
In fact, we had a couple of attempts because in Turkey, for some of our energy resources are supplied by exactly 100% renewable energies. We have big solar, wind, and waste management. I mean, energy produced from the waste facilities. We wanted to carry. Until now, we couldn't do. But at that point, in fact, we are expecting more regulations, and because for energy, especially energy, the governments are the main actor who put the laws, who put the regulations. None of the company can say that I want to do this. No. At the end, in most of the countries, energy is supplied by the government organizations. In Tanzania, it is TANESCO, and you must sell the energy you produce to that organization. That's why you can't do it yourself. But in that area, I think Tanzania needs still more space. You have a lot of areas and empty areas which is open for solar power, and I know even in the offshore, and it can be also in the land, there's a lot of windy places which can produce very nice energy. In Tanzania, again, the energy from the waste, I believe that this is a potential area. Waste management from the waste, the facilities who can produce electric from the waste, I think it can be a potential area, because in Tanzania there are a lot of agriculture products are produced, and some of them are going for the west. These are all potential areas. Until now, some of our Turkish companies did some attempts, but none of them can end it. I'm still pushing, I'm still encouraging, but currently we don't have. But for other environmental approach, we are all encouraging Turkish NGOs who are working in Tanzania, and Turkish Development Agency called TIKA. They are supporting sometimes small entrepreneurs, unions, cooperatives, other NGOs in economical activities and also in environmental activities. But a lot of things to do. Still, a lot of Tanzania is a big country, and high population, and with a growing population. That's why a lot of things I think we should do more.
So, we all know that the pandemic COVID-19 was a big hit for every country in the world, and it's kind of made the economy in every country go down a bit because of how things were performing. Now, can you tell us a bit more about what was Turkey's approach to that pandemic, and maybe what lessons can we learn from it?
In fact, it is as the terminology called pandemic. It means it was a global threat,
Yes.
and all over the world it became a problem. But to tell the truth, compared to Tanzania, Europe is more affected. US is more affected. Japan is more affected
Yeah.
because of their elderly population, because of their median age is higher. But in Tanzania, the median age is about 18, 19. I mean, it's a very big and young population. That's why most of the African countries are not affected like Europe. By nature, they didn't affect, because Tanzania COVID was a big risk for the elderly people. Turkey, we are in between. We are not that old like Europe. We are not like young like Tanzania. But because of this global world, even we shut down our doors for months. But we tried to be more elastic, more flexible.
Hmm.
We were following the numbers. We were following the number of the UCO patients, the COVID patients, and diagnosis. Turkey's health system is really strong enough. That was really advantage for us. That's why we didn't see any view that all the corridors of the hospitals are full. People was dying outside. We didn't see any pictures, any
Yeah.
videos in Turkey, because our hospitals, doctors, health system is really strong enough. I'm saying this as a professional doctor who worked in the hospitals, in the private sector, in the government also. But what we should learn from this crisis, this pandemic, is it can repeat. In the next years, we can have other pandemics. because we are living in a more connected world. If any crisis happens, any disease happens in one part of the world, it can spread other parts. Even before COVID, we had different influenzas. Bird influenzas and different influenzas. They were not like COVID, but it means it can repeat. But what can I say, not only about this pandemic, unfortunately, in next years, next decades, we will face much more with the disasters. This is not a fortune telling. What I'm saying is depending on the scientific facts. Because in the same world, we are now living 8 billion people. And the population of the people in the world is increasing. Yeah. It means in the same world, the world is not expanding. In the same world, much more people are living. Think that a village, in the same village, the number of the people are in the same village is increasing. We are occupying much more lands in the same village. We are making much more buildings in the same village. We are producing much more waste in the same village. We are moving much more in the same roads. That's why congestion, that's why occupation in the same land is increasing the harm of the disasters. If an earthquake happens in a desert, nobody is injured, nobody is died.
Yeah.
This is not called disaster. If an earthquake happens in an ocean, nobody is injured, nobody is dead. This is not called disaster. But when it happens in an area where people live, and which the cities are not ready, which the people are not ready, then it is called disaster. And it is something about the coping capacity of that place, that people. Our coping capacity is not expanding as our populations. Our population in the world is expanding, but the coping capacity, cities infrastructure, resistance for the disasters is not developing with the same speed. That's why, unfortunately, not only pandemics, but because of the floods, because of the landslides, because of the earthquakes, because of the different types of it can be a man-made disasters, it can be a chemical accidents, it can be, unfortunately, wars. Although sometimes we say that we are living in a modern world, 21st century, but still in different parts of the world, the wars are going on. It means the human nature didn't change, although we define it as the modern times. That's why disasters are always potential to be there. Personally, we must be ready also for that one. What can we do? Starting from the learning first aid for myself, for my family, for my neighborhood, to be living in a strong enough buildings, to living in a nice location and right location. It doesn't mean to be an expensive one, just to be smart and to learn main life skills. That's important. Unfortunately, we are living in a world we are so much addicted to internet, addicted to smartphones, addicted to the electric. Of course, they make life different, sometimes easy, but life is not only based on internet. True. Life is not only based on electric. That's why to consider it our plan Bs. In most of the houses, I believe that they don't have candle anymore. If the electric goes, more than a couple of hours, then the life gets difficult, because even we don't have candle. We depend on our torch, but what about the battery? If there is no electric and for a long term, even it will not work. That's why I don't want to be an nightmare fortune teller, but there are possibly difficult times we can face in our life. Yeah. To be ready, to consider it, to make some preparations as much as possible, can save lives.
That's some very true words, and we just hope for the best, and we hope we are prepared if anything was to happen again.
Yeah, in the disaster management literature, there's a saying like this one: hope for best, be ready for worst.
Yes. Throughout our talk, you've been mentioning the power of the internet. You've been saying how internet can be bad, but internet can also be good. But I want to go a bit about the social media side, and we can see that people have this assumption that social media is just for the youth. Social media is just for us to just post and saying we're doing this today, we're doing that today. But what is your opinion on the impact of social media and digital influence on diplomacy? And as I can see, you are, I can say, active on Instagram, the social media. We can see you post, for example, you've met someone that, like, it shows us your activities, which, if for someone who does not know what is going on, I could say, okay, today you did this today. That will help me understand more. What do you think? What do you think you achieve from doing certain things like that as a diplomat? Do you think it gets you somewhere that it reaches other people, or do you think that you're just doing it just for your own, or there's an importance behind it of using social media from that side?
I believe that these are all equipments, and equipments are good if you can use properly. For social media, if you want to use it only for entertainment, only for listening music, only for dance videos, that you use that capacity only for that one. Like knife, if you can use a knife to make a piece of art, with the one knife you can make, for example, you see a big watermelon. With the one knife you can make a piece of art
Yes.
with different shapes. If you are a good chef, with the one knife you can do a lot of, nice peeling of the fish and ready for very nice cooking. Social media, if you can use YouTube, Instagram, whatever the social media activity as an education tool, now you can reach, millions of the useful content from social media. But it depends on yourself. I'm not only talking about the diplomat, as an a bit older, for the young brothers and sisters. Please take the control of yourself. Don't just scroll down. Don't just scroll up. Have an agenda, and especially even for scrolling down, the algorithm of the social media companies, social media softwares, look for your interest. Please follow the right people. Don't just follow for entertainment. If you just follow for entertainment, the algorithm will bring you only for entertainment content.
True.
But if you follow the right people, if you show interest, if you like the right content, the algorithm will bring you more encouraging videos, more informative content, more competitive content. Sometimes we need competition. If you see the competitive content, even you are encouraged. By social media, you can be encouraged. By social media, you can be a lazy person also. That's why, especially for using social media, if you want it to be a beneficial things for yourself, please take the control of yourself. Even with your fingers, you can earn the world, you can lose the world.
True.
Even in diplomacy, it is good for sharing what we are doing. It is good for connecting right people. Even you reach me through social media. Through social media, you can express yourself in different language. Now, in fact, we didn't touch, but with the AI, it is coming to a new time again, new era, because it is now easy to create more difficult contents.
Yeah.
To make translation, to produce videos, even to change the voice. That is really easy now with the AI technology.
Yeah.
But it depends on you. You will use this technology like any other equipments, like knife, like whatever you choose, on the good way or on the bad way.
That's very true, and we also emphasize. We've talked about how social media how you consume social media is up to you. You can use it, as you said. You can earn money through social media. You can lose money through social media. It all depends on how you perform and how you use it. But as you said, we do encourage them to make sure that when you're on social media, make sure that you are using social media, but social media is not using you. So in that way, I hope you guys have understood the part of social media. And I also think that social media is very much beneficial, because through that I was able to contact you. also, if you look at it, the diplomat side, I wouldn't be able to, if you did not have social media, it would have probably been a longer process for me to get a hold of you. But through social media, it made things easier. So use social media wisely and make sure that it's effective when you're using it. But lastly, I was saying, looking ahead on your personal and professional aspirations, and how do you plan to continue to making your own destiny in the world? This is one of our last questions because we like asking someone on the making your own destiny side, how do you plan to continue doing so personally and professionally?
I mean, this is a personal question, but to be frankly, I'm still trying to learning about the life. Even my position in Tanzania helped me a lot because I'm living in a different country and different climate, different people, different culture. But it helped me a lot really to understand because sometimes, as you said, when you are living in a one circle, you think that all life in the whole world is about that circle. No, there's different approaches, different lifestyles, different understandings. Even with the same thing, when I see this part. When you see this part.
True.
But this is the same thing, but depends on the angle what we are looking. It gives us different perspectives. That's why I'm trying to still understand about the life. I enjoy my family. I have 4 kids. I think I all say to my young brothers and sisters, life is divided into two: before marriage and after marriage. Because really you fulfill yourself with the marriage, and after marriage the life is again divided into two: before kids
And after
and after kids, because then you feel different responsibilities. When you are single, you don't know about anything about that responsibility, but after marriage and after kids, you become a dad or mom, then you feel something different. Before yourself, you start to think about your kids.
yes.
Before yourself, you start thinking about your family. I try to read. I try to read from different literatures and different countries, different authors' books, not only for enjoyment, to learn about it. For example, in these days, I think we shouldn't pass without touching it. I'm reading about Alija Izetbegovich's personal history.
Hmm.
He was the former president of the Bosnia, and in Bosnia in 1990s there was a big war. Hundred thousands of people. I mean, estimation is more than 200,000 people is killed, especially from the Bosnia side. And when I'm reading it, I saw a lot of similarities between what's happening in now in Palestine and the attack of the Israel to Palestine people. That's why to understand something, when you look at from different perspective, you can understand something about another topic also.
Yeah.
That's why I think reading is always, I mean, until the last day will be important, and we should keep our relation with the books. It can be e-book, it can be, I mean, book with the paper, but please don't cut your relation with the books. I mean, keep a book always under your hand. I think it is important, and have friendships. I mean, between friendships, by friendships, life is easier and life is really cheerful. You enjoy life better with the friendships. What can I say?
That was Dr. Mehmet. We really appreciate you coming to our studio and having this episode. I've personally learnt a lot. I've learnt a lot about social media. We've touched upon. You've learned about the Turkey and Tanzania investment forum that happened. I've learnt about the relationship that we have between the two countries. I've learnt a lot about you too that you've personally touched upon myself, and I really appreciate you coming. And guys, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share it to your friend, and again, we shall share the link so that you guys have access to the embassy. If you guys want to go to Turkey, I myself would want to go there too.
Karim,
Thank you very much. But thank you very much, and thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome, and hongera sana.